Everyone, it is August 8th, and I'm here with Ronit Plank, and we're going to talk about creating community building community through creative contributions because both Ronit and since Ronit and I became, I started where I'm from. I've accepted your request, Ronit. Let's see, I'll accept it again. And Ronit, here she is. That
Hi,
was
Allison.
fairly easy. Hi, Ronit. How are
Hi,
you?
hi, Allison. How are you?
um, I just walked in the door like 4 minutes ago, so I'm here.
I just refound my phone 10 minutes ago. I was like, ah, it's been a week where I keep losing my phone, which I'm sure means something psychologically, like,
Is it Mercury retrograde or no?
maybe whatever. But I was like, my husband was asking me, he's like, do you know what these charges are? Which one of the kids? And I was like, I can't do this right now. I have to join. I have a live. I was like, why are you asking me right now? Anyway, I
Yes.
found my phone. It was right by where I was doing laundry because it was a big laundry morning for me. And it sounds like you were out and about.
I was out and about. So I'm here now, and I was giving our intro,
Yes,
building,
you do it. Yeah. Building
building.
community through creative contributions. I caught
Yes,
you just as you were fixing it. I
it
mean, I
was.
don't care.
I
It's
was
just
moving things around.
yeah, it doesn't
Um,
matter because really what this is about is because I was when I was joining the live, I looked at your bio and I reminded myself about all the things you do besides just writing and just do a podcast and just do Reburn and just do Where I'm From. Like you have your hand in anthologies. You have so many different ways in which you contribute and connect with people.
yes, as do you. I mean, I didn't look at your bio, but I just know that you do
Well,
with your
geez.
podcast and your I looked at my
Okay.
questions that I texted to
Well, I
myself.
looked at your bio because I was like, are we live yet? But also, I am sort of a one-trick memoir pony, so I'm okay. It's like where I put all my little eggs, but it's good. And I edit, of course. I'm
Yes, and
Citron
you
and stuff.
teach, and
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I came up with some pictures, no questions that we can talk about, but should we just like talk freestyle for a little bit?
Well, I also just was saying that part of the reason this is happening is because both
Mm,
of us are approaching episode 200.
yes. You want to talk about okay. Um, I'm approaching episode 200 of my podcast, Let's Talk Memoir. And I do want to say, I'll mention this again. In the month of September, I have a special promotion. So I got some magnets
Oh,
made,
okay.
and I got some stickers made. And so I'm going to send them to anyone who leaves a review of my memoir in the month of September and sends me a screenshot, or a podcast review and sends me a screenshot who lives in the US. I'm just going to do an old-fashioned snail mail thank you. And so those are my celebration.
I love that. That's very, because this sort of came out of, so where I'm from is for those of you who don't know, an Instagram live series. It's also on YouTube where people join me to do their version of George L. Lyon's Where I'm From poem. And Ronit joined me. She was number 35. And we had to do it twice, which was lucky for me. I enjoyed it.
I
Um,
was, I
it's
was
a
like,
little
I can't
stressful.
believe this is happening. Ah.
Um,
Yeah.
but 200 I saw obviously that 200 was coming, and I thought, oh, I need to do
Are you at
something.
what number are you right now?
I just did 199 on Wednesday, and 200 is next week with
Oh
George
my
Ella.
gosh, it's so exciting.
It is
Is it a
really exciting.
surprise who it's going to be?
It's George Ella.
Oh, right. Okay, that's amazing. And you've interviewed her before. You had some sort of Facebook,
I
some type of
have.
Zoom thing, right? With
She was
her?
number 43, I think. She
So
was number
amazing.
43, and
Well,
she
this is a
read.
perfect time. I have to ask you, what gave you the idea for the series?
Oh, um, what gave me the idea? So I was in a writing. Well, it's called Project for Advancing Healthcare Stewardship. It's about um, health writing, and that's not what it's called. Narrative medicine. It's about narrative medicine, and Janine Ouellette had posted about it on Facebook, and it was free. And she was like, "People should come." And I really love Janine, and I thought, well, it's free. I'll check it out. And in it, she would lead a writing exercise, and we did Where I'm From, the prompt created by Fred First, which I did not know at the time, but
Oh.
that's who it was created by. And he's joined me. He shared his poem with me about 10 ago. And And I loved it. I didn't do the poem. I just talked to Amy Rogers because I knew her from Facebook and we were in our little breakout
Yeah.
room together. And I was like, well, this could be a cool thing to do on Instagram Live. Maybe people would join me and share their poems with me. And it was really started on a whim. And it obviously has grown much more than I would have imagined. And it's been incredible. I've met so many wonderful people. I would imagine your story is similar with Let's Talk Memoir,
Well,
but
yeah, and actually, because some of what I wanted to offer in our conversation, aside from the fact that I love talking with you, and we always have a good time. I mean, I
we
do.
do.
I don't want to speak for you.
I always have a good time. I said that in the caption of my
Yeah.
post, Ronit.
Yeah. Live with Ronit for a good time. So, I did have a question. I know that is so dating myself. So, um, so like, yeah, it's how did my questions that I wanted to, so it's about like celebrating your 200 where I'm from and my coming up
Yes.
200 Let's Talk Memoir, which is I've tried to manipulate the numbers so it starts with the new season, which is coming up in
Hmm.
September.
Hmm.
I mean, meaning I'm doing double episodes per week, which is a lot, but I was like,
Because
well,
you
I'm starting season,
started. When did
huh?
you start? When did you start
The
Let's Talk
podcast.
Memoir? Yes, because
It
you
was
started after I
20, it
did.
was 2022.
Okay.
And so I had had a couple of other podcasts, which I don't
Yes.
need to go into. They're all on my site. And I'd done one with a co-host that was produced by a real live producer that went
Mm-hmm.
to like a network for a minute. And then I did my own, and then everything changed. And I liked that a lot, but I got a little tired. And I found that I was getting some really good authors, memoirists.
Hmm.
And then my memoir came out in 2021. And then something just clicked for me
Your
where I thought,
wonderful memoir. I can't
thank you.
hold it up, but I
I'll
should
hold it
have
up.
brought it.
I'll hold that bitch up.
Yeah, you
Hold
hold
on.
that up. I brought
Here.
nothing. I have no props.
I have a lot of props. Um, it's from my work with Uta Hagen at HB Studios. We always had to
That's
have
right.
props. Okay,
Hmm.
so When She
Gotta
Comes
have
Back is my
business.
memoir. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And it came out in 2021. And at the time, I'd had an MFA in, memoir, nonfiction, and I don't know. I just was at a podcast conference where I was speaking, a She Podcast conference in Arizona, and I went to a session on niche podcasts, and it
Mm-hmm.
just clicked for me. And I did a search for memoir podcasts, and I didn't see a title like the one I was thinking of. My daughter helped me
Hmm.
name it. Originally, I was going to name it About Your
Okay.
Memoir, and then she's like,
Mm.
and I thought that sounded a little like shady, like About Your Memoir. So she's like, why not Let's Talk Memoir? And
Mm. It's a
she's
great
20
title.
now.
Way to go,
Oh, well, yeah,
Talia.
Talia named it. And so it's been going since 2022. And originally it was a limited series. It was just going to be
Right.
15 episodes. And that's how
Right.
I just I'm very close to the vest and cut my losses. I know you and we don't really like celebrate stuff, I think, until it's a bird
No,
in the hand.
we have a hard time
Yeah.
celebrating, which is
Yeah.
part of the reason we made it an intentional effort.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
then now it just keeps going, and I really don't see a reason to stop, and it's been great. And so as we near these 200 marks, I did want to ask you, like, so you started with this idea, let me see if I can do this, and I'll go live. And
Mhm.
how does it keep going? I know this is a loaded question because I feel like people probably find you, but once you
Some
did a
people.
few of them, how did you then find other people to be part of it?
I asked everyone. And I will say don't be afraid to ask people. That's something that I say a lot because I think people are like kind of inherently concerned about rejection. And one of the things I did during the pandemic was I was in this Facebook group like binder full of rejections or something. And the whole
Oh,
goal of the binder was to get 100 rejections in a year. And
oh,
so I
that's
took
great.
that on and
That's
I did it.
great.
Yeah. And the upside is usually when you get 100 rejections, you get some acceptances and you start to realize it's a
Yeah.
number. There is some numbers game in it, right? Like you have to put yourself out there to get accepted. And so that really helped me with rejection, that experience.
I think
And
it's also true. Like, did people start coming to you? Like, I have a question. This is sort of related to mine. When you would ask people, or people would ask you, would they ever say, "Oh, I was hoping you'd ask me"? Did they ever say, "I was hoping you'd come and ask me"? Or because I don't know all the writers out there. I don't know all the books
no,
out there,
how
and
could you
so
possibly?
yeah, so the two of us not asking someone or
Right.
tapping someone to be on our platform,
Right.
I just want to say it doesn't mean that we don't
No,
love your work or
no,
we don't want you to
no.
be on our program. Like, it just mean or our platform. It just means we probably have no idea what's going on. Like for me, I'm like, like let me, whatever it is I'm
Yeah.
doing. So
Yeah.
I'm happy when someone lets me
Oh, for
know that
sure.
they're interested or they're
Yes.
aware.
And I encourage people to reach out. I mean, anybody who's been on any call with me, I'm like, please reach out. Tell me if you're interested. Like, and it is for me, it's different for you with you read books, you have a lot of prep. It's different. I don't have prep. People show up, they share
You
their
give them the
poems, we
template
talk.
for the poem,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then, and
Yeah.
you read it cold, you hear it
Yes.
cold, or do you see it in
I read it.
advance?
I read it
Yeah. And
just to
then you
make
have
sure.
some
Yeah.
questions on the fly, like that
Yeah.
you ask them.
The standard ones usually, what was it like for
Yeah.
you writing this poem? And then
Yeah.
usually something will come out of their poem. That's the thing I've really been struck by, and this is related to the question I was going to ask you.
Oh, mm,
Um, you probably learned a lot, right? Doing this podcast. I have learned a lot about
yeah.
writing and life. And what is like your biggest thing that's been confirmed for you or that you've learned? Because for
Oh
me,
gosh.
I
Yeah.
have
What's
mine.
yours?
So I'll go.
Oh, can I like tread water for a minute while you
Yeah.
tell yours? Okay.
Yes. Yes. So I mine is because you hear it over and over and over again in writing workshops, concrete, specific sensory details. And people tell you
Oh,
how important those are.
oh,
And
yeah.
you say, yes, those are important. I believe you. But listening to almost 200 poems, they're so important. And they do create ways to connect. Because I
Hmm.
think, particularly when you're first writing, you really want to write something universal, right? Like that's your thing. I'm going to write something for everyone and it's universal and they're going to love it. And
Hmm. Hmm.
then, and so you kind of write generalities more, right? Or I did. I'll speak for
Hmm.
myself.
Hmm.
And then as I've gotten more practiced, I am more specific. And it is that is the stuff that your imagination grabs and you think about and it touches you and sometimes because you have the same things, right, same memories, but sometimes
Hmm.
because it's the first time you've ever heard this, and
Yes.
that's wonderful. So
Yeah,
that's mine.
so that's really great. Now I understand it's more of a writing question or can be a writing
It
question. And
can be, it can be anything.
I want to jump onto that because as you know, I edit and I coach
Yeah.
sometimes and also reading these books because I
Yeah,
do read a lot of memoirs.
you sure do,
You
Ronit.
know, I read every guest's memoir, you
Yes.
know,
And you
and
ask amazing questions and you quote their books back to them.
thank
Being
you.
on your podcast was such a gift.
Oh,
You're such a thoughtful and careful reader. It's
thank
really
you.
amazing.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
I think that, you know, if I had to organize my thought process about all this, it would take me a minute to, I'm sure there's a lot of different, you know, plates I want to keep spinning, but I always want people to feel like it was real and that I'm not just blowing
Yeah.
smoke and that
Yeah.
they were with me and I spent the time on their project and them.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, of the many things I fear or don't like, I definitely don't want people to think that I'm full of it or that like I want people to know that I'm genuine, you know, like I try to
You are
give I
genuine.
may come across, you know, I can't guarantee how I come across, right? And
Mm.
people are going to think what they think about you, but I never want to feel like I'm phoning it in. Like that's just not my, you know, I want to like laser beam into your eyes in a not creepy way and be like, "Hey, we're connected. Like did we have a moment?
Yes.
Like did we connect
Yes.
here?" So I would say as an editor, especially like at the Citron Review and stuff and reading these books, it is true that one of my guests, Suzanne Roberts, and I've quoted her a lot, she says, read broadly and, you know, widely, like deeply and broadly. Like the
Mm.
thing, thank you, Dr. Stacy. She's so sweet.
I
Um,
know. There's a lot
I,
of things happening in the chat and I
I
am
know the
not
chat.
paying attention
Usually
to
I'm
them.
very like squirrel, squirrel.
Yeah, I
This
am.
time, have you noticed? I haven't done it.
I
I'm just
haven't
like,
either. I just see
yeah,
things are happening. So
yeah, I love it.
you might feel free to reach out to us after
Yeah, yeah.
because
So I
I am
think that,
getting my eyes lasered by Ronit, and so I
oh,
can't look at the chat.
I
They're
was
being
like,
lasered.
when? Are you okay? So, okay. So, okay. Lost my phone twice this week. So, Um, but what I wanted to say is I think that you'd be surprised at how, when you read broadly like that, when you
Yeah.
read deeply, you realize exactly what is out there and how much more you don't know is out there. But I see certain words used a lot. Like, for example,
Mm-hmm.
even in blurbs that get sent to me as pitches from PR
Hmm.
people, I see the word unflinching all the time.
I
I
do
see the
too.
words resilience all the time. Like, I
Yes.
understand that's part of the memoir thing, but we
Yeah.
can't all be unflinching. You have to have a different word sometimes.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to, and that's on the marketing side, I kind of, I've used it myself, and now I will never really use that word again because it's used so much of the time. And I'm getting kind of tired of it. But I would say that what were you going to say?
I think that's sometimes the issue with blurbs in general is there's this pressure to make them so superlative, like
Yeah.
everything has to be the most that you feel like, okay, but what is the book actually like?
Yeah, and I think that
You know,
also when you see a lot of subheadings for memoirs, you'll always see resilience and their resilience. And
for sure.
I understand that's what that is.
Yes.
But as a reader of things, of
Mhm.
so many things, all of us, I think it's really important to get down to that granular, and you really will take the reader there. So I was working with one of my clients, one of my writers, and she was talking about words, the accumulation of words and the ink in this piece that she read to me that we were working on. And then she compared it, she sort of paralleled it to a piece of something that you eat and the color of that and the way that that accumulated, because it was, and I don't want to give away her whole thing because it's her words,
Right.
but the color and the juice and the accumulation of that task was
Mhm.
sort of in concert to the words as a writer that she accumulates. And I was like, that's very interesting to me. I haven't seen that in such a close space together, and now I'm really interested.
Mhm.
What else are you trying to say? The other
Mhm.
thing I would say, just off the cuff, is that I think that, and I'm guilty of this. I sent an essay that I thought was ready and was good to a couple of contests and to
Mhm.
places. I was excited because it was further along than I'd gotten on that piece. But
Mhm.
then later I looked at it and I was like, after getting rejected, I was like, oh, this is not ready. I was proud of myself for getting it to this next layer or this
Mhm.
next level. But now, having taken a couple of weeks off of it, I realize it's really not there yet. And actually, I don't know what I was thinking. So there's a difference between being proud of ourselves, and I'm articulating this
Mhm.
for the first time to you right now, like
Mhm.
in this way, but there's
Mhm.
a difference between being proud of ourselves for being able to, spit out or ruminate or digest something that has been gnawing on us and get it on the page and be like, oh my gosh, I think I have something. And that being then ready to be consumed by a reader or being finished, or that you've gone deep enough or far enough with it to find the resonance in what you're really trying to say. So that's where time and trusted readers really come in, I think.
Time is so important, and I know it's hard because we want to feel complete with something, right?
Well,
Like
it feels so
I
good for
did
me to push
this.
submit. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm one of these people. I don't know about other people, but I love submitting stuff.
Yes, no, my flight just went off. I'm just laughing.
I
My
was like,
phone's doing all kinds of things. This is what I really look like.
mm.
So, uh, yes, well, especially when I was doing that rejections thing, it did like because I got over the hump of. That's what was so powerful about it was I got over the hump of the nerves. It was just like
Yeah, you just gotta
I
say,
need 100
well,
rejections.
that's
Let's
true.
go
The more you paper the town, so to speak,
for
with your
sure,
work, the less precious each one becomes.
for
So
sure.
let me ask you this, because we did want to talk. I do want to ask you something about my two last questions for you, which we can loop in to the community building, so we can give these hot
Yeah,
tips,
yeah.
these takes. I'm curious what has surprised you throughout this process, either in the
Mm.
beginning or now. What has surprised you the most, or about, building community or anything? And also, what would you recommend, which you kind of did earlier, to people who feel like they don't have as much of a writing community or would
Mhm.
like to build more of that?
Those are good questions, Ronit. Are you going to answer both those too? She's good at
Yeah, maybe. Oh,
questions.
I did not think about answering them, but I will. I thought you would have, if you want me to answer something, but I
I
can
have
think about it.
answers. I have answers.
Okay.
But I also want to hear your answer.
Okay.
So the surprising thing, I think I am pretty upfront about this is like a not a gatekeeper space. Please send me your poem. I'm excited to hear you read it. People will ask me for feedback on their poems or say like, I don't know if it's good enough or what do you think? It's good enough.
Mm,
That's what this
this is a
is.
safe
Yeah.
space of
And how
expression.
there's kind of the sometimes desire to be edited almost, like, well, tell me. And I'm like, no, it's not mine to tell. Like, that isn't what
Yeah.
this is. Um, and and I think this isn't really surprising, but it has been validating. I think people just so want a space to be heard. And I'm grateful to provide it. And
Yeah.
without judgment. Like I'm just here to listen and engage with you, and I'm in.
You're so good at that. I mean, you're so good at all of that. You do
Oh,
really
thank
hold
you.
space in a thoughtful and, I want to say, warm, but also there's like this gravitas to it, but
Yeah.
not in a low energy way, right? Like you are someone that I feel really comfortable with talking to, and whenever we do these things, like it's just very easy. And I'm
Oh,
sure that people who come onto your platform feel that way.
well, thank you. That means a lot because that is truly the goal. I feel the same way about you, Ronit.
Thank you.
And
Happy 200.
I feel very grateful that you're my friend,
I feel
and
grateful too.
yeah, and when you were talking about your book, I think I read your book. And this kind of dovetails perfectly into your next question. If you don't feel like you have writing community, get out there. Like, read, comment, review, like be a good literary citizen, not because it's transactional, but because that's who you are. And it might be uncomfortable, but you don't need to leave a whole treatise in your book review. I keep
That's
telling
true.
people that. You can just say, this book really helped me. I felt less
Or
alone.
this is what I needed right now.
Yeah,
Or, I was more than I got something more than I even expected from this book. I mean, that's enough to make me interested. And I
yeah,
do want to say, like, you know, sometimes I think it's important to build genuine friendships.
for
If
sure.
people, as from across the miles, of course, it is hard to connect with people. People fill up our feeds. There's always chatter. There's always people who want something, who
Yeah,
say, "Oh, do you?" This is for all of us.
yeah,
Messages you on Instagram or something. It's like, "Hey,
yeah,
but." You should try to find a way in with a connection. If you see someone posting something and you see one of your friends has liked it or it follows them, you can say, "Oh, I love your work. I just found you because of so and so." Just create
yes.
that kind of connection. And also, I need to be better about this. I do repost things. I do share things that I think are
Yeah, you do.
valuable. I want to do more of that, even because,
Well, you do a lot.
well, I suppose you could say with the podcast, I'm doing it because I don't get paid for that. And so I am
Yes.
promoting. That is my time.
Yes.
So if people like something that you're doing, if you like something someone's doing, it's always nice to tell them why and to make that connection. I mean, half the people who are here on this live right now and the people who I'm now friends with, or if I go to a writing conference who I'm going to run into and be excited to see,
Hmm.
are people I met on Instagram
I
or
know.
Substack.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
No. And I think it is important to also say, though, probably many people who are listening to this know this, like, you're not like messaging Glennon Doyle or Cheryl Strayed. It's like
Or
people
not. No, I'm
who,
kidding. No,
I mean,
Wah,
I am.
wah.
No,
I'm
I'm
just joking.
actually
No,
not. I'm not. Um,
no.
but I think people don't realize like so many authors and people you may even imagine get just constant praise. They don't. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
So just and don't do it
Yeah.
hoping you're going to become besties or whatever, but just like let them know.
I
And
like that essay that you wrote.
yes, to me, I have done it because, and now I have an excuse with this where I'm from to actually say, hey, would you join me? Which is nice to have a follow-up thing to offer people. But I started out doing it. I thought, if I have a book, what would I want? I would just want someone to tell me it mattered to them after I've poured my heart and
Yes.
soul into it. And I think I mean, no one's getting rich. You're doing it
No, we're
because,
definitely not getting rich.
right.
Definitely not. And in fact, like I have a class that's starting in October, and I just got all my pre-registration in, and I realized, like, oh, that's great. Like I now have funded the class. And then I was like, well, that's all gone now because I've already paid my podcast editor and my web person. And I was like, okay, well, but that's why, I'm kind of, it's just like a little loop. It's just a
Yeah.
little loop. Yeah,
And like we're doing it because we want to create
that's
community and
right.
connect
Well,
and all
that's
that.
right. And
So do
yes,
it. Do
yes,
do the
exactly.
community piece because it is meaningful. And I was gonna say, I mean, there's a woman, I'm not gonna say her name, but she just says nice things to me on Instagram and it's lovely. And I love hearing from her and she's just
Yeah.
sweet.
Yes.
I don't know her, but it's lovely. And then I see her pop up, I think, oh, she's gonna say something nice because she always does. And
That's really nice.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like be that person for somebody who you're excited to see their content.
Yes, yes, and if you like what they said, if you like what
Yeah,
they put out, if you've enjoyed Where I'm From, if you've enjoyed an episode of Let's Talk Memoir, share it. You don't know how happy it makes me when I see
yeah,
someone has added
Yeah.
and tagged me in their stories and said, I really like this conversation. It's like,
Yeah.
I know that is feeding into the social media, like, do you like me? But we do, this is a time commitment. It's a creative community for all of us. Writing is time. It's our attention. It's a space inside of us that we keep as safe as we can so we can keep doing it. And then we
Yeah.
reach our little feelers out to try to find other writers and to find readers. So I would do it anyway. I would certainly do it anyway, even if I didn't think more than one person was going to read my thing. I would do it because I enjoy the process of doing it. But when you find that there are people who resonate with what you're saying or who feel like, oh, I could maybe write a poem, because actually I hadn't written many poems when I did Where I'm From,
Yeah.
not in my adult life.
Yeah.
And I'd taken a couple of classes, and then I came to your Where I'm From for my episode, my one, and I was like, is it good? I don't know if it's good. I did the same thing because it's a different kind of voice that you're
That's my
writing it,
mom.
right?
Thanks, mom.
Oh, good. I was like, is there a creeper here? I wasn't sure who that was. I was
That's
like,
my mom.
wow. Hi,
Uh,
Mom. I've seen pictures of you, and I love to learn about you. So sorry. Okay, sorry, I digress. Okay, so look, we have like 4 minutes because we said we would
yeah.
do this, and like, is there any, I guess, do you have any other questions for me? I feel like we've done the community thing. I think I got my community sea legs when it was COVID, and I went into the binders groups
Yeah, for
and
sure.
and
Me
on
too.
Instagram. But
Hmm.
I also want to say, like, I've seen such amazing writing coming out of people who didn't have credits just 2 or 3 years ago. People
Yeah.
who are just blowing it up with
Yeah.
putting their stuff out there.
Yeah.
And you can make a little goal for you. I tell all my students, why don't you just make a goal for yourself that you're gonna come on to Where I'm From. You're gonna reach out to Allison and be on it. That you're going to start a book group with one of the books you heard on, Let's Talk Memory. You're gonna read one
Yeah.
of those books. Maybe
Yeah.
you could even get the author, if you connect with me, maybe they'll come to your book group and zoom
Yeah.
in for you. Authors love to be able to talk about their work and
They
meet
do.
readers.
I mean, we do a sibling loss book club with the sibling
Mhm.
loss with loss of a lifetime,
Do
and
you
the
have your
author
book near
always
you?
comes.
You do have a book.
I do have a book, and I don't
Where,
have it near me. Like I said, I have
okay,
no props.
okay.
But it's really
Let's,
nice. And
yeah,
they always
I don't
come.
have the hard copy. Let's spend the last few minutes talking about, the celebration, because some people are just joining us now. So I'm
Yes.
celebrating your 200 Where I'm From's.
And I'm
That is a,
celebrating your 200 Let's Talk memoir. I mean,
yeah,
what?
I know
That
that's
means
a lot.
at the very least, it means you've read 200 books for me.
Definitely more, because I have a whole bunch
My
of episodes in post
God.
production and a whole bunch more are happening. And I think,
Amazing.
I like, it's only here, Allison, because you created it,
Hmm.
right? It's
This? Oh,
only Where
yeah.
I'm From is, I mean, the poem in
Obviously,
its
Georgella created the
inception, of
poem, and
course.
then Fred
But this
created the prompt. And
series,
yeah,
this place for writers to come and share themselves and their work and to be in conversation with you, is here because you created it. And my podcast in this incarnation, there are other book podcasts for sure, other podcasts that talk about resilience and memoir for sure. But I show up and do it just like you show up and do it because we love doing it, and that anyone enjoys it is a benefit and a gift, right? And so
wow.
you
And
you
Let's
do
Talk
have.
Memoir has become such a resource. I'm interrupting you because it's
Yeah,
important
that's
because
good. Well, I'm
you've
glad
said
I'm
a
not
lot of
interrupting
nice
you anymore
things
because I
about.
keep interrupting you. And uh
I don't notice. Your podcast has become such a resource for writers, and it's such a service, Ronit.
Thank you.
It's an incredible, like, you could just listen. And I'm sure you saw it on the Facebook on the binder somewhere talking about, you should just listen to this podcast. Like,
Oh wow,
listen
was
to
that
this
recent?
podcast.
I didn't
I think
see
it was a
that.
little
It was
while
a while
ago.
ago.
I
Okay.
should have sent it to you.
Yeah, it's okay.
But you know how it is. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I
no, no, no.
tagged you. But it was like, listen to this podcast, do that. Like, don't get an MFA, don't spend all that money. Listen to this podcast, do this. There is so much to be learned by listening to your podcast. And it's such a positive, encouraging space, which everybody needs right now. But
Well, that makes me very happy because I do want it to be, I really honestly absolutely want it to be useful. I don't want it
it
to just
is.
be,
It's
you know
so
what I mean? Like,
useful.
I'm trying to ask the
Yes.
questions that
Yes.
I actually genuinely want to know. And
Yes.
I think it's funny because sometimes I'm like, have I asked this question before? I'm sure in some incarnation I have. Or isn't it enough already? Isn't it enough already? But no, because it is sort of like holding space for someone's process of writing. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of people writing memoirs. There
Yes.
are a lot of us out there writing memoirs or
I
who
know.
enjoy memoirs. And so I think it's nice to see how the sauce is made, right? How
Yes,
did you do it? Because it's
and how
hard.
there's different ways of doing it. And I think there's so much value in that too. Like there is not one way to do this. And I think sometimes in MFA programs, certainly mine, which was film and television, but it was as if there was one way.
I didn't read nearly as many experimental or hybrid
Yeah,
memoirs when I was getting my
right,
master's of
right.
fine arts. I read a lot of the traditional ones, and I'm really glad I did, like Stop Time by Frank Conroy and This
Sure.
Boy's Life by Tobias Wolff, and of course, The Liars Club. But there were very few ones that came my way or that I heard about.
Hmm.
The newest one at the time was The Chronology of Water, and
Hmm.
that was like considered very different, you know?
Hmm.
And nowadays, wow, like it's so inspiring to see what you can do. And as a
Yeah,
reader and as a writer, I love saying to
yeah,
myself or noticing and being like, I can do that. Yes,
yeah.
I can do that. I definitely can do that. Or I mean, not that I can do it as well as that writer, but
But I
I'm
know what you're
allowed to do that.
saying.
You know what I mean? Okay, so let me remind everyone. I'm gonna be okay. Here are my little magnets that I ordered on
Yes,
Etsy. Here are my little stickers. I know I'm way ahead of the game here. Here are my stickers. In the
I
month
love
of
it though.
September, I'm gonna be promoting. I will send you a magnet or a sticker. I will send details in my feed. You can get one. I'll send you a little card with a little sticker, like it's the '80s.
I love that though. I love
Yeah,
snail mail. Everybody still loves
yeah.
snail mail.
I mean,
I
come
don't
on, right?
I don't have anything for you, but 200 is next week with Georgella, and I've already recorded it because it was on Zoom, and I want to say it is very special. She
I am
reads
so excited about
the
this.
inspiration for her, which is incredible, a poem by Joe Carson, and then she reads the original poem, which is not something that she does much.
Has she
So
written more in the
she's,
intervening years? Does
yes,
she
so
always
much.
no, does she do new Where I'm From's?
Oh no. Oh yes, actually. When she joined me for 43, she read one that she had written in 2018 about the political climate. Yeah, she does.
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
and it's just such a wonderful conversation. And I will next week have a cento, which I didn't know that word until someone who had been on
Well,
Where
do
I'm
you want to
From
explain it?
suggested
Because I
it to
think I
me.
know what it is because I saw an email about it, but can
Okay.
you tell the people
So a
watching what it
cento
is?
is a literary work created from previous literary works. So in this case, it is a poem of Where I'm From lines that have been on this program. So it's a poem. It's a long poem. I asked people to send me their favorite line. So then I got all of these favorite lines, and then had to make them into another poem, which was a very
Wow.
fun, but it was a challenge for sure too, kind of finding
Where do
the
they belong?
flow. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's
I
going
bet
to
the
be
editor and you enjoyed it though, ultimately.
I did.
Did it? Did you?
I
Yeah.
I wrote them down on little like note cards, and then I moved them around, and all of that was, and my dog really wanted to lay on all of them, of course. Like I had it
Yeah.
all on the floor, and she's like, "So this is my resting spot." I'm like,
Look, because it probably smelled like you and it was like where you're going
and
to
my
be. And
attention was there, like moving them
yes.
all around, and I was just I feel so grateful, and I would assume you feel similarly, that people trust me with their words and
Mm.
their stories. And I've always been somebody who's really interested in people's stories, and this has been so special for me to connect with
Yes,
people in
I
this way.
agree with you. I feel that way too about stories and where
Yeah.
people, literally where people come from and how they survive. So,
Yeah.
congratulations on 200.
Same to
It's
you.
such an accomplishment. I can't wait to see the Cento. You'll be posting that
I
or
will be
sharing it?
posting the Cento. And for
Hmm.
anyone who's listening, reach out to me if you would like to join me. I am not going to be able to reach out to everyone. So please feel free to reach out to
Exactly.
me. And I typically am about 6 months ahead. So if you contact
I'm
me now,
really
it's
glad you
March.
said that because I also am I'm
Yeah.
like many months ahead. So
Yeah.
if
And
your
you feel
book,
kind of like, weird, but it's like, it's just the reality. So
yeah, yeah.
you have time. So if you're interested at all, reach out
You
now.
have a long time to write this
Yeah.
poem.
You get 6 months. So thank you, Sarah, for the congrats, and
Thank you,
for
Sarah.
always being
Thank
so
you. Yeah,
supportive.
she's so sweet,
Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. And Allison, I
Yes.
hope you have
This
a
was
beautiful
a
rest of your
joy.
day and love seeing you.
Same.
And brava.
Same.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you. All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.